Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. We have a lot to talk about. To my super chat, I cannot do this without you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding like some people. And I wasn't unendorsed by Bernie Sanders like some people who also have $20 million in venture capital funding. We won't go there. There's no need to go there, but your super chat support is greatly, greatly appreciated. If you want to talk about this or any topic via super chat within reason, I would love that. I want to talk about Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, the next 2 years. Kristen, hello. And I think it's very important we have this discussion. I want everyone to know something very clearly, okay? I do not have Kevin McCarthy as my number one choice. I'd rather have Jim Jordan. I'd rather have James Comer. I'd rather have Andy Biggs. I'd rather have a number of Republicans in the House. Okay? I would rather have a number of other Republicans. Okay? The problem, however, is twofold. One, you have to understand that he is not Mitch McConnell. So really quickly, before we get to the whole shadow speaker, very interesting dynamic here, or phenomenon, or dynamic, or political reality. McCarthy is going to have to do exactly what Trump says to continue without a revolt within the Republican Party, or at least within the House of Representatives. I talked about that in my last segment. But here you have Trump endorses McCarthy for Speaker of the House. And then he Trump tells GOP congressional supporters to cease McCarthy, going up against Trump backs McCarthy for Speaker, warns doomsday scenario if GOP doesn't come together. Okay. All right. I understand and I respect the viewpoint that you'd rather there in some way, it's better if there's a Democrat even. I think that would be a catastrophe and a nightmare for many, many reasons. But they would impeach Trump like 10 more times. So, and you wouldn't get the impeachment of Joe Biden, which is going to take place. But the reason I'm bringing this up, ladies and gentlemen, is that you're not dealing with... Exactly, Jerry, we'll talk about that. You're not dealing with a normal political party here. You're not dealing with the normal dynamics of a political party. You're dealing with Donald Trump taking over, turning the militant, corporate, never-ending counterinsurgency conflict Republican Party, a Republican Party that never really addressed the issues of not only its voters, but voters throughout the country. Okay? The Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld years started with a never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts that ended with a financial meltdown. The Lincoln Project has never been right on any foreign policy decision ever. It took 2 seconds for Jeb Bush to fold against Trump. Trump came in out of nowhere in 2015, 2016. Republicans, whenever they have lost, it wasn't Trump's fault. It was the fact that you had state parties in Georgia and state parties in Arizona and people like Mitch McConnell and Richard Burr and Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney and Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, who every step of the way tried to undermine Trump and the trajectory of the Republican Party. It's now a populist political party against never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, against never-ending quagmires, against interventions, and a political party. Well, with Trump, we had record low unemployment. But also record low poverty. Okay. He also addressed the U.S. border. He also addressed issues. He didn't revere multinational organizations. He didn't revere the intelligence agencies. So these are all things that Trump Republicans have adopted. These are all very good things. I'm not telling you that I want Kevin McCarthy. I'm trying to tell you that if Trump is backing him and he's going after, and he's not backing McConnell. So it's not like, and I'm not saying that Trump is 100% right or that he's infallible. He's a human being and he's made mistakes before, a number of mistakes. But Trump is not shy. If he didn't think that he would have a good amount of control or influence in terms of his policies, foreign policy, domestic policy, and also in terms of the impeachment of Biden, if he didn't think that he would have all of this, he wouldn't be backing McCarthy. Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Are there better choices? Yes. Will we have 2 very good years? Absolutely. I think that's important. I think that's an important thing to understand. Any thoughts on reference towards right to try and work speed? Was that that may be a money deal with? I don't know exactly what you're referring to. I wouldn't want a deal at all. Dr. Donna, I agree. Again, when you look at McCarthy, are there better choices? Yes. Could he lose to Andy Gibbs? Andy Biggs, sorry. There's a slight chance of that. I think what'll take place is he'll be voted in Speaker of the House, and he'll have to address a shadow Speaker of the House, an alliance or a number of Trump Republicans in the House who don't want him Speaker. He'll have to prove himself at all times. And I think that's what's going to take place. And I don't think that's a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. Here's why. There is a difference between McConnell and between Kevin McCarthy. You're going to get impeachment with Kevin McCarthy. That's 100%. You will get impeachment. As Speaker of the House, you don't have a unified... The Republican Party is not a unified political party. Democrats will rally around a house cat, a fern. It doesn't matter. If Fetterman or Biden were pulled over by law enforcement, they wouldn't pass a sobriety test. It's a different ballgame. You're not going to get a Pelosi. You're not going to get the equivalent of Pelosi tomorrow. You still have to, that's why I say there has to be some kind of olive branch, some kind of detente, some kind of communication. After the dust clears with the trials or lawsuits in Arizona, there has to be the Arizona Republican Party and the Georgia Republican Party. There have to be some kind of Lewis, thank you. Happy New Year to everybody. Merry Christmas to everybody also. There has to be some kind of detente. Because it doesn't matter if Jim Jordan or Andy Biggs is Speaker of the House. It doesn't matter if we won the Senate. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter even if you had 66 or 67 senators and you removed Biden from office. 24 is a lost cause if you don't have the Arizona and Georgia Republican parties. Now, something has to happen something has to happen in terms of something has to happen in terms of détente or some kind of deal, some kind of situation where they make peace. If you don't make peace, I mean, that's the big issue. It's not just, look, it's, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just about Kevin McCarthy. It's about it's about winning in 24, impeaching Joe Biden because there are graft and bribery schemes. You can prove that very easily with the emails and the 150 financial transactions. Okay, I would much rather have Jim Jordan. I agree, or Marjorie Taylor Greene as Speaker of the House. That would be much better than Kevin McCarthy. And so I agree with everybody. That was my initial reaction to Kevin McCarthy being Speaker of the House. But look at, like, if you take a bird's eye view or the aggregate viewpoint, look at everything from above. It took 7 years. It took 7 years from 2015 to 2023. We're right about to reach 2023 in a couple of days. Okay? And Happy New Year to everybody. Trump came in and single-handedly reshaped, revamped the Republican Party. But there are still people who are never Trump. There's no never Bidens. You understand? There are no never Bidens. That's the issue here, people. There are no never Bidens. Okay, why are there no never Bidens? What is that? Like, does anybody ever ask why there are no never Bidens? Does anybody ever ask why why aren't there Democratic state parties that don't fall in line? Not only do they fall in line, it's this allegiance and loyalty and obedience that only a cult member would have. And it's funny too, because they're in such a bubble that they view anyone who votes for Trump as, this like cult member. But actually, I wouldn't vote for Trump if he behaved like a Democrat. I don't care about words, although I do think that there has to be perhaps a greater emphasis on optics with Trump. But that's another story. Okay, he has to regain that electricity. I'm pretty sure he will. He has to win independence, and he has to understand that there's just 24/7 negative media coverage. They're going to sensationalize everything he says and does. And the never-Trumpers in Arizona, Georgia, other locations, they're never-Trumpers because they are petrified of media. So that's also an issue. You have to give people a political incentive to get on board. Okay? Democrats, Voters Book, hello. Democrats, Merry Christmas, the bill, ABC TV, everybody here, Merry Christmas. The Democrats have loyalty and obedience and allegiance within their political party because you can get a book deal immediately. You'll have favorable media coverage. That's why Kinzinger and Cheney opposed Trump. It wasn't because they really dislike his value system or who he is. Kinzinger voted for Trump 2 years ago. Kinzinger voted along with Trump 90% of the time. It has absolutely nothing to do with value system, or never-Trumpers are afraid of media. They're afraid of the apoplectic and hysterical media coverage. These politicians, if they don't really stand for anything, live off of media and name recognition and a political type of marketing. So that's the real issue. These are the real issues that Trump and Trump Republicans have to address. the state political parties that aren't on board, that will undermine 24, okay, the never-Trumpers that are still around. It would be a good thing if McCarthy, if you could, the fact that McCarthy is more establishment, hopefully Trump could use that to his advantage, saying, okay, reach out to the never-Trumpers. Give them an incentive, some kind of political incentive to get on board. Okay? And that's what I think Trump should do that with the Arizona and Georgia political parties. But it's not the end of the world. Like, the fact that the House of Representatives has changed hands is enormous. It is completely paradigm changing. The fact that they don't have FTX money anymore, if you could believe this man, the SBF is out on $250 million bail, which is hilarious because he basically printed that money. He never earned that money. That was an entire racket, but he gave money to Democrats, so he's getting hooked up now. Again, that's the point. There are people, I think Trump has to address this. Maybe Kevin McCarthy can address this. Trump runs on policies, value system, and he doesn't care what Democrats think of him. The Democratic pundits or liberal pundits look at Trump like he's the embodiment of evil, and that there's no value system there, and it's only sinister and nefarious, and everything is bad, and he's just a horrible human being. Meanwhile, they don't realize the fact that the U.S. border is completely, I mean, you look at what's taking place. Atrocities are taking place every day. They don't care. They don't care. They only cared when Trump was in office. Everything they claim to care about when Trump is in office, whether it's that issue or the issue that Democratic senators shut down economic activity because of, more people lost their lives under Biden. Worse atrocities are taking place during this administration at the southern geographic region of our country. Okay, so worse things are taking place under Biden's watch. The economy stinks. Foreign policy is a catastrophe. We're talking about nuclear issues now when we weren't before. President-elect Pressure 609, thank you. Merry Christmas, Goodman. Merry Christmas to you, President-elect Pressure 609. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year. Have a safe, beautiful, wonderful President-elect Pressure 609. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you. Have a beautiful, happy New Year. Everybody stay safe. It is nuts out there. It is nuts out there. You know what? Nothing good happens in the late hours of the evening or early morning, however you want to look at it. So just stay safe. The roads are completely, out of control. A lot of people are, they're, they're doing what Beto O'Rourke did years back. And just stay safe. Your friends, family, if you're just, alone and enjoying life, you're trying to enjoy life, just stay safe and have a great and happy New Year. President-elect, thank you so very, very much. I think that the next 2 years are going to be very important and they're going to be wonderful. I think that we have, the Democratic Party doesn't have Twitter anymore. The bill, ABC TV, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you. President-elect, thank you again. The omnibus bill, for example, they still have the House and the Senate. The Democrats, all they've done is spend trillions of dollars and tens of billions on foreign policy catastrophe. It's a proxy battle where you're using another country. And then you have Mitch McConnell saying, oh, well, that's our greatest concern. They came in with a reset. Democrats came in '08 with a reset. And then in 2012, they said the 80s want their foreign policy back. They're the most duplicitous political party of all time, but they have the media narrative. There's not one Trump supporter at the Washington Post, not one at the New York Times. Okay? This has never happened before, where you've had this overwhelming obsession with opposing one person, with all of media opposing Trump. It's never happened before. Lewis, thank you. It's never happened before. I mean, you could say it has. You could look at parallels, but not to this extent, I don't think. Not to this extent. I'm just saying, like, there are bigger issues than if McCarthy leads the House of Representatives or Andy Biggs or Jim Jordan. There are much bigger issues. He's not going to be a Kevin McCarthy, if that's what you're thinking, because there are more Trump supporters, a lot more in the there are a great many more in the House than there are in the Senate. The Senate is a bit more centrist, a lot more centrist, even for the Democrats. So it's not the same thing. When people say, I could be wrong, but I think McCarthy will surprise a lot of people. I really, really do. I think he'll surprise a lot of people. You get the impeachment, that's the main thing. You get the impeachment, and you get bills addressing, if the Senate blocks every attempt to address issues we face, like the inflation Democrats caused. There's this rebuttal from Democratic-leaning pundits that say, well, they gave trillions to Wall Street. It was Democrats who shut down their states gleefully. The quantitative easing, in addition to the stimulus checks, was because you tried to replicate economic activity. The rebuttal that, well, they gave money to Wall Street. Yes, because too big to fail banks could have also tanked. This was a self-induced wound led by bureaucrats that Democrats worship and governors that, Andrew Cuomo was America's governor. Remember that? Before he was kicked out? I agree with you. A boy and his dog. I agree with you. I think there are a lot of similarities between Teddy Roosevelt and Trump. I think that, if you had, on a different note, Trump has been proven right about a lot. If he could communicate that in a different manner, because unfortunately it's taken me years and years and years. And President-elect, thank you so much to my super chat. Thank you, President-elect. It's taken me years to realize something about our wonderful country. I think we live in the greatest country in the world, the United States of America, even with all the problems we have. But in this country, it is public relations. It is not your achievements that help you in politics. You can fail and fall upwards. You can fail and fall upwards. You can fail miserably. Biden is objectively failing miserably. When they say he passed his bills, he had both the House and the Senate. What's the big deal? Like they say, oh, he has legislative achievements. He has the House and Senate. What is such a big deal about what he's achieved? Okay. What's the, like they say, like, oh, well, you know what, he's, it's a big thing, and he's he got this passed. He has the House and Senate. You look at inflation, the Inflation Reduction Act initially increased inflation. And by the way, it's like all of the problems that we face now, inflation caused by Democrats shutting down economic activity. They did this. And then they said, well, we had to do this. Even Bill Maher says we didn't have to react in that manner. We didn't have to react in that manner. Okay. And then the people who pushed, Ed, hello, the people who pushed for all of this, the people who pushed for all of this are now, it's like the attention span of our country. They only care about Trump because people only care about Trump because everything he does is sensationalized. So even if he's right, so you have a situation where Trump said, yeah, you know what? The market's going to tank. The economy is going to tank. Foreign policy is going to be terrible if you have Biden. They don't care. Do you understand? They were completely exposed. They were it was revealed that Twitter and government officials were silencing conservatives, Republicans, banning Trump just because they could, not for any specific reason, not because his tweets were criminal in any way. And you have the actual evidence within the Twitter files 1 through 8. And they still don't see it as a problem. They will never. This is the issue here. There has to be more political. There has to be more of a emphasis on politics. Politics is not just being right. If it was, Trump would be, finishing up his second term. Politics is about public relations, giving incentive. The incentive for Democrats. You think Democrats believe that Trump was a Kremlin operative? Most of them, they didn't care whether he was or he wasn't. They fell in line. They got positive. You think Adam Schiff believes any of the stuff he says about Trump? For sure he doesn't. There's no way. Eric Samurai, hello. There's no way he does. Okay, and then you have Republicans who are like, I just can't get on board with Trump. The reason they're saying that is not because they really are taking a stand. Taking a stand would actually be supporting Trump. That would show integrity. You're going up. You're moving upstream. You're going against the grain, supporting Trump, and his policies worked. If it's just about policies, Trump is an excellent president, but unfortunately, with politics, a good economy. Trump's economy was overshadowed before 2020 by the Mueller probe. Democrats have a media machine. They don't have Twitter. They don't have FTX money anymore. They don't have the House of Representatives. 3 major disadvantages now for Democrats. Okay? Three major disadvantages, 3 major advantages for Trump. The thing now is that he has to, in the next 2 years, Republicans have to impeach Biden because Biden and Hunter almost certainly committed actual crimes. Not like Trump with his... They can't pin anything on Trump. They had one day that they feel is like a catastrophe, which it was. It was a terrible day. You be supporters of Trump losing their lives. An unarmed woman lost her life. Okay. And thank God the building was not, the building was, they didn't do anything to the building, thank God. Terrible what happened the next day after that to the police officer. But how many police officers were injured in the line of duty that summer? We had 14,000 arrests that summer. I'm not making a direct equivalency in terms of why people demonstrated. I agree with why people demonstrated that during the summer. But I don't agree with $1 to $2 billion in property damage. And 19 lives lost, according to Wikipedia. 14,000 arrests. They don't care. Democrats don't care about chaos and mayhem. The media doesn't either. There was a CNN journalist right in front of a building talking about fiery but mostly peaceful. They're lying to you, they're lying in the face of their viewers. But in America, in the United States of America, you can actually hear something. If you're a Democrat, and also, even if you're a Republican too, fine, but mainly Democrats, you can hear something, And it could be like Bernie Sanders being cheated, or Twitter working with government officials to silence conservatives, the economy, inflation through the roof, an invasion in Europe. These are objectively bad things. And you will not admit that. They will simply not admit that they're wrong, ever. There's never going to be another Watergate moment, because with Watergate, you had Republicans saying, yeah, Nixon has to go. It will never happen on the Democratic Party side. Only on the Republican side will you have never Trump Republicans. But once they leave, it'll be a different story. The Passionate Patriot, hello. Once they leave, it'll be a different story. So, I just think that, there's just way too much emphasis on Kevin McCarthy. He doesn't have the power that McConnell has, number one. He needs the support of Trump and Trump supporters in the House. He can't get anything done without the support of a great many Trump supporters. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And that's why, in a way, when my segment prior to this one, in a way, Trump will be Speaker of the House through McCarthy. I know you might say, oh, that's not the case. What are you talking about? If you're an establishment type of person like McConnell derives his power or his political influence from the fact that he controls campaign funding, and he's been there forever. Okay, that's an issue. Okay. John, hello. So that's an issue. I think that McCarthy will surprise a lot of people. I could be wrong. He's not my first choice. But you're going to get impeachment, and when that happens, it'll be a completely different paradigm. You will be able to talk about all the details, the nitty-gritty, the dirty little secrets of Democrats pertaining to Joe and Hunter and financing and campaign funding and all of that stuff. Even AOC is under investigation now for campaign finance issues. The pendulum is completely swinging to Trump. I mean, when you look at it, if Trump just makes peace with certain state parties, Arizona, Georgia, perhaps others, and he can address independence, the Passionate Patriot, Merry Christmas to you, thank you. If he can address independence, there's no stopping him. But if he can't address the independent voters, and he can't make peace with, with Georgia and Republican state parties, it really doesn't matter who's Speaker of the House. Also, expect impeachment. It almost certainly will happen in 23, but the impeachment proceedings will start very soon. Okay, you're going to have a great many revelations, a great many investigations into Hunter. They're going to lead to very likely Biden not wanting to run again, and then I think Hillary Clinton will be the nominee. I really do. I think that she'll eventually be nominee. But let me ask you this. Let's do a poll really quickly. President-elect, thank you to my super chat. Thank you. All right, let's see. What did I accidentally clicked something? All right, start a poll. Is there a difference between McCarthy Okay. Now answer this. I mean, think about what I've said and just give me your thoughts. Is there a difference between McCarthy, Trump backed him, and Mitch McConnell? Give me your thoughts. I want to hear that. Kevin, hello. Dora, I agree with you. I do agree with you. But there has to be some kind of, some kind of union, because there's no way, there's no way he wins in 24 without that. I said Trump baked him. I meant Trump backed him. Good. Excellent. So there is a difference. They are the same establishment type of politician, but one, McCarthy might be establishment, but he knows that he has to play ball a lot more with Trump and Trump supporters. So I'm glad that people see a difference. I think that the next 2 years, you'll get impeachment. You'll be able to talk about the impeachment on Twitter. Okay. You better believe if the former trust and safety team was still running Twitter, you wouldn't be able to talk about impeachment. You wouldn't be able to talk about lots of things. Okay? Like a whole bunch of things would be off limits. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I just wanted to go ahead and do this really quickly. Have a great evening, people. I wanted to just, I wanted to do a quick live stream. I'm kind of like running out of steam right now. I wanted to do a quick live stream. Be here tomorrow at 8 a.m. Okay, I will have a YouTube upload at 8 a.m. I'll have an upload at 8 a.m. every single day. So just expect that. Every morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, ladies and gentlemen. I will have an upload on this channel. So just expect that. Every single morning, 8 a.m. Pacific. And, Hetty, hello. And be here tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. God bless. And President-elect, thank you so very much. Wanted to do this really quickly, everybody. Have a great evening, people. Thank you so very much, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific on this channel. Merry Christmas, Eric. Everybody here, thank you.